and inclusive and sustainable development. The Republic of Kenya takes pride in the foresights of His Excellency the President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, in singling out contemporary African problems of socio-economic transformation required given the existential threat of climate change, the required reforms of the multilateral development banks to be fit for purpose, scale up resources, and championing for the reforms of the global financial architecture. This is the 59th annual meeting of the African Development Bank Group and also marks 60th anniversary of the African Development Bank. It is thus a celebration. It has a theme, African economic transformation, the African Development Bank Group, reforming of the global financial architecture. It is such an exciting theme at this time in African continent. The annual meetings will provide an unparalleled networking opportunities, facilitating strategic collaboration and partnership with the key decision makers from African Development Bank Group member countries, as well as all shareholders, but also explore feasible solutions for African economies and the transformation agenda. We want to assure you all, our distinguished guests and delegates, that Kenya is fully prepared to host the event, ensuring a seamless experience for everyone. The event will be hosted at the Kenyatta International Convention Center. The historical significance of this convention center is that it hosted the World Bank and International Monetary Fund annual meetings half a century ago. That was in 1973. We look forward to welcoming you to Nairobi for what promises to be a historic chapter in our ongoing partnership with the African Development Bank Group, the African region, and the world at large. So karibu Kenya, welcome to Kenya. Asante sana, thank you very much.
This week on What's in Your Kitchen, we have Chef Sean who'll be making for us spaghetti with beef mince and beef sausages. Tunasema hii ni meal ya mabachelors.
Hii ni meal ya mabachelors.
Or people who don't have time in the kitchen.
But
okay.
For here, just make sure it doesn't stick together. So
it's just for fancy.
Just
right? Kama mtu anataka
circles and
mabachelors. What would be the best occasion for making such?
Yeah. Okay, basically for me, I usually make this if I don't want to.
Well, it is exactly at the top of the hour. Welcome to our broadcast of this lunchtime news. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim. My co-anchor is Anne Wangesh. Just in time for the latest in the country. Talk to us on our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1 and at Abdiaziz Hashim 1. And we start further afield where President William Ruto has rallied investors in the United States of America to leverage on favorable policies by the government to invest in Kenya. The president, who joined U.S. Vice President, that is Kamala Harris, at the Kenya-U.S. Business Forum, says routine engagement with investors has led Kenya being ranked among the top foreign direct investment destination in the world. He was speaking ahead of the conclusion of his U.S. state visit.
Before the conclusion of a state visit to the United States, President William Ruto sought to woo American investors to Kenya. During a Kenya-U.S. Business Forum, Ruto called on the investors to take advantage of favorable policies in Kenya for investment.
We now have in Kenya a special economic zone in Thika that will focus on pharmaceutical manufacturing. And I invite companies who want to explore opportunities in that space. Aside from us giving incentives on buying from locally manufactured products, you have the benefit of access to the East African market of 300 million people, and by extension, using the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, access to 1.4 billion people.
The truth is, the policies that President Ruto's administration is pursuing, his deep and abiding commitment to democracy, transparency, and the rule of law, and the entrepreneurialism of the Kenyan people, it's unlocking new opportunities, changing the narrative in Kenya and, quite frankly, on the whole continent.
Several cooperation deals between the two countries on investment were signed, with President Ruto underscoring the need for continuous engagement.
Our digital superhighway program, which involves laying an extra 100,000 kilometers of last-mile fiber optic infrastructure and establishing digital hubs nationwide, aims to create a digital ecosystem to promote the uptake of digital services and digital products.
At the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, President Ruto and U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris highlighted the place of technology and innovation and its revolution in Africa.
Technology is the facility, is the instrument that we can use to leapfrog Africa from where we are to the next, to catch up, if I may, with the rest of the world. We have the youngest population. That young population is tech hungry. Yeah. That young population, we have the opportunity to shape it.
It is predicted that by 2050, 1 in 4 people occupying space on Mother Earth will be on the continent of Africa. So when I think of it just from that perspective, many could rightly argue that the future is on the continent of Africa.
Before departing for Nairobi, President Ruto met U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken as both countries committed to confront emerging security challenges.
Thank you.
And just like on arrival, President Ruto was escorted to the joint base Andros with pomp and color, marking the end of a historic tour. John Jacob Curia, the Lunchtime News.
Kiera, thank you for that particular report, and we'll continue unpacking what we have received as a country from that historic visit by President William Ruto to the United States of America. Let's come back here to the country where Muguka, in terms of Muguka ban, the county government of Embu has vowed to challenge in court the decision by the counties of Mombasa and Kilifi to ban the supply, sale and consumption of Muguka in the region. Embu Deputy Governor Kinyua Mugo said a team of lawyers is expected to move to court on Monday to seek guidance concerning the matter.
A day after Mombasa County Governor and his Kilifi County counterpart issued an executive order banning the trade of Muguka, the county government of Embu now says it will move to court on Monday to challenge the ban.
The county government of Embu and county assembly of Embu have engaged their legal teams to move to court and seek guidance on the matter. For now, I urge the Muguka farmers and players in the value chain to exercise calm as we seek avenues to resolve this stalemate.
Deputy Governor Kinyua Mugo said there was no justification for banning Muguka while allowing another same family Mira to gain entry and sell in the counties.
There is no law. It's important to note that there is no rule separating Mira from Muguka and no single law prohibiting its sale or consumption.
These as traders and farmers expressed concern that they stand to lose in terms of revenue and livelihoods if the decision is not rescinded.
Kutoka nizaliwe nimepata miraa ikilimwa. Nilianza kukula miraa after nimemaliza shule. Na sasa hii kusema ati miraa inaharibu uzazi, mimi sasa hii niko na bibi na niko na kijana.
Muguka ni mmea ambaye watu hapa wamepanda, wamefanya mambo makubwa, wameelimisha watoto, hata vile wanasema ati hapa watu hawajaelimika.
Mbere North Member of Parliament Geoffrey Ruku has in the meantime alleged the ban had a hidden agenda.
Wakati Muguka imefika Mombasa, iko na bei ya chini kuliko yale mandawa ambayo mnauzia vijana wenu. Ndio maana mizigo yenu ya mandawa ya kulevya imeisha bei, imeisha soko pale Mombasa. Mnaonelea kwamba sasa ile njia mtaendelea kuuzia vijana wenu na vijana wa Kenya mandawa ya kulevya ni kupitia kupiga marufuku huyu mmea wetu huyu ambao unaitwa Muguka.
Farmers and traders at the Muraru open air market have also expressed their frustrations on the ban.
And in other news, the government has been urged to increase funds to the Constituency Development Fund CDF Kitty to cater for more schools, infrastructure and reduce congestion. Now speaking during the official opening of the new classrooms at St. Teresa Boys in Kamkunji constituency, Area Member of Parliament Yusuf Hassan at the same time raised concerns over the rising incidence of land grabbing, especially in public schools and other government institutions.
Tunahitaji kupanua shule zetu, tunahitaji kujenga madarasa zaidi, tunahitaji kupanua matumizi ya kama laboratory, mahali pa wanafunzi kukutana, dining halls, mahali pa kupikia chakula. Shule zetu zina shida nyingi sana na sasa hivi tunataraji pesa kutoka Wizara ya Elimu kuanza mradi huo. Na hasa kukarabati na kuongeza madarasa katika shule mpya ambazo zina junior secondary school. Ambazo zimeongezeka kwa idadi.
The government has been urged to implement the Public Benefit Organization PBO Act jointly with other stakeholders to allow the smooth transition of the office. Now, civil society reference group members who attended the 3-day sensitization workshop in Naivasha on the PBO Act urged the government to bring on board all stakeholders during the public participation session to enable inclusivity. The group also pushed for self-regulation as in the case of the media industry.
We have already also formed different teams among ourselves to be able to look at that particular bill or act and see which sections do we think need to be amended in future or which sections need to be aligned with the new constitution. We are also engaging with parliamentarians with a view of perhaps even pushing for an amendment bill to the sections that we think are not in line with the constitution. And we have already gotten a member of parliament who we have engaged with and is really ready and waiting for the act, for us to develop those areas so that the act can be amended, can be taken to the parliament.
Elsewhere, a section of schools principals from Mogotio sub-county in Baringo want the government to reconsider the decision to scrap the school meals program from the budget estimates for this financial year. In the meantime, Child Welfare Society of Kenya has expanded its emergency food program to cover more counties. Back with that particular story once it is ready. Elsewhere, taxi-hailing firm Faraz has joined the foundation, the fundraising concerns that has been raised in terms of the flood victims. Now, also we'll bring you that particular story, but first, I'm being informed we need to take a short commercial break and we'll be back with more. Don't go too far.
Mizimu imesema atakayekuwa kiongozi ni yule pete itamchagua.
Bahari imechafuka. Mrithi wangu ni yule atakayeniletea vuo la kuoga.
Sasa na hili vuo wachana nalo, wakati wake umepita.
Pete hii ni ishara ya utawala.
Huu uongozi tusimwachie Jasiri.
Kwa nini uongozi usimwendee Jasiri? Na wauliza nyinyi, Jasiri ana nini?
Kiva, hakuna atakayekusumbua.
This week on What's in Your Kitchen, we have Chef Sean who'll be making for us spaghetti with beef mince and beef sausages. Tunatumaini meal ya bachelors.
Any meal ya bachelors.
Or people who don't have time in the kitchen.
But
okay.
So for here, just make sure it doesn't stick together.
So it's just for fancy.
Just
right? Kama mtu anataka
circles and
bachelor. What would be the best occasion for making such?
Yeah. Okay, basically for me, I usually make this if I don't want to.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Now, a section of school principals from Mogotio sub-county in Baringo want the government to reconsider the decision to scrap the school meals program from the budget estimate for this financial year. In the meantime, Child Welfare Society of Kenya has expanded its emergency food program to cover more counties.
Plans by the government to do away with school feeding program in schools has not been welcomed by a section of school principals from Baringo County. The principals are pleading with the government to reconsider its decision, saying the program has benefited many learners from poor background.
Najua sehemu hii imekuwa na changamoto sana kwa mambo ya kiangazi na mambo ya chakula. So sio bora sana serikali isimamishe msaada ama school feeding program kwa shule kwa sababu hiyo ikifanyika hivyo watoto wetu hatawahi kusoma vizuri.
Speaking in Mogotio constituency after receiving relief food, the principals argued the move will also be a big blow to many students who have always depended on relief food, especially from ASAL areas such as Baringo and northeastern region.
Hiyo vyakula inasaidia hawa. I think that the population will actually have to reduce. Because mtoto, sometimes may actually come to school because of the food which is there.
We tell them they give us fees, wanasema wazazi wakikuja wanasema hata hawana chakula nyumbani. Otherwise, government wakisema wanatoa chakula, it will be a real challenge.
Area leaders say the program has enabled the region deal with rampant cases of early pregnancy and forced marriages, as many students opt to go to school at least to get a meal a day.
Chakula ikiwa hakuna watu wanakimbia nyumbani ati hakuna chakula sijui ni konja. Chakula ikiwa we don't expect young girls to be getting pregnant wakiwa shule.
The food will be of great help to our students so that we'll be able to ensure that they are retained in school.
In Tharaka Nithi County, 1,458 learners with special needs drawn from 8 schools have also benefited from the school feeding program from the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection.
Mambo ya food, school feeding program ni important sana kwa wanafunzi watoto wa this area, especially nomads. Kwa sababu without the food, they are not going to pursue their education.
Timothy Kipnosu for Lunchtime News.
Taxi-hailing firm Faras has joined the fundraising initiative for flood victims, committing to donate 5% of all their fares. Speaking when he donated items worth 4 million shillings at Zawadi Primary School in Isli, Nairobi County. Faras General Manager Alan Maimbu said the firm has also set up a tap on its platform for commuters to donate to help those affected by the floods. Maimbu was accompanied by Kamukunji constituency Member of Parliament Yusuf Hassan, who called on more cooperated to extend help to those affected by the floods.
Na sisi kama Faras, for me is to affirm our commitment to be part of this community, because we believe if we have a healthy community, then we have a healthy institution where we are able to serve the people of not only in Kamukunji but also in Kenya. Kwa hivyo na ningepia nataka kusema kutoka leo tumeanzisha mpangilio wa kuwezesha our customers kudonate Faras Miles.
Tunashukuru Faras kwa kusimama na wananchi wa Isili South, na hata sisi pia tutasimama na Faras, na tunaomba wananchi wa Kenya wasimame na hii kampuni ya Faras juu ndio inasimama na wananchi wakati wa shida.
Like Faras, one of our leading cab hailing companies in Kenya and in fact in the region, who have come forward to support us through their corporate support system, corporate assistance. And today they have donated food assistance for 1,000 households, which would help up to maybe 4,000 people, up to 5,000 people for 2 weeks. Thank you.
Now, still with the effects of the torrential floods, more than 10,000 households have been affected by the flood disaster in Tana River County, with 8,300 households being in the Tana Delta alone. This is according to the Kenya Red Cross Society officials who visited the Tana Delta to assess the impact of floods in the region. They revealed out of the 43 counties in the country affected by the floods, Tana River was worst affected, calling for humanitarian efforts to support the victims. Red Cross President Kate Forbes says damage to infrastructure following the cut-off of roads at Gamba along the Garsen-Lamu Highway and submerged Bandi village. Families living in camps hailed the Kenya Red Cross Society for the humanitarian support offered to the flood victims. The visit comes even as Tana Delta floods victims called for compensation for the losses caused by the floods.
Their needs continue to increase every day as we move from primary effects to secondary effects after the flooding. Initially, we had the emergency needs, but now we are getting secondary needs, including the need to reduce the risk of disease outbreaks, which is calling for concerted efforts among them, ensuring that the families get clean water for normal consumption.
Trying to rebuild that, but more importantly, help build resilience and prevention so this doesn't happen around the world over and
atupate kidogo maana nyumba ya kujenga.
Tunaomba serikali watubadilishie hizi hema. Hizi hema ziko na joto mwingi na hazina room ndani, na tuko na watoto wakubwa na tuko na wasichana wenye ambao wanasoma shule, na sisi wazee tunakaa na watoto hapo ndani kwa ndani, na usiku tukilala pamoja. So tunaomba kwa heshima na taadhima, tunaomba serikali kuu na watusikilize hicho kilio chetu, watubadilishie hizi hema.
Elsewhere, Agnes Atieno, an alumni of Ogande Girls High School who scored a B- grade of 58 points in the 2022 Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education Examinations KCSE, had a dream to pursue a sociology course in Kisii University, but her dreams has been cut short due to financial disturbances. Now, for the past 2 years, she has not been able to join a university, and she is now working as a gardener to support her struggling mother. Atieno has a secondary school balance of 34,000 Kenya shillings. Atieno is now appealing to well-wishers to help her pursue her academic dream. To help Atieno, you can channel your contribution through the M-Pesa number 0726874870. Name is Grace Akinyi Obunga.
KCSE in the year 2022 at Ogande Girls High School. I got the grade of B- and I failed to join due to financial issues. My mother, who was paying for my school fee, is currently sick and unable to pay for my fee. My sleep is still in school since I never cleared the fee arrears of 33,000. Who is willing to help me can help me through my mother's number 07268748770.
Well, you can help that young girl who scored a good grade in the KCSE 2022 that lasted. The number once more is 0726874870. The name is Grace Akinyi Obunga. Whatever you have, you can send to that family so that that particular student can quench her thirst for education. Let's continue with our stories here. Now, the spouse of the Deputy President, Pastor Dorcas Rigathi, flagged off and participated in a 4-kilometer mental health awareness Awareness Walk in Gatanga, Murang'a County. The walk was also meant to sensitize the youth against alcoholism, drugs and substance abuse in the area. The walk was followed by the graduation of youths who have been equipped with technical skills through the collaborations of the Catholic Church and the community. Pastor Dorcas donated a sewing machine and salon equipments, among other collaborative efforts to encourage the transformation journey.
In line with the commitment of the government is to support the initiative that are geared towards dignifying the lives of our people. We continue with empowerment programs that enhance skills and impart knowledge. I am glad that this rhymes with the Empowerment Center and the foundation.
Once we deal with the addiction in our young people, that we equip them with technical skills so that they can be in gainful employment even as they continue dealing with the addiction. And I think that is the way to go.
And now directly, let's look at what's happening in the world of sports, where Africa 100 meters record holder, that is Ferdinand Omanyala, and world 800 meters champion Mary Moraa will lead Kenyan charges at the Eugene Diamond League meet tonight in the United States of America. Omanyala will line up alongside three-time world champion Christian Coleman of the United States, a Jamaican duo of Davison Sandry and Akin Blake, and Japan's Yangita Hiroki, among other elite sprinters. Moraa will be up against Ethiopia's Workesa Masele, Uganda's Halima Nakai, and USA's Nia Kins, among other athletes. World record holder Beatrice Chepkoech will lead compatriots Jacqueline Chepkoech and Faith Cherotich in the women's 3,000 meter steeplechase, a race that will see Bahrain's world champion Winfred Yavi take to the field. Commonwealth Games silver medalist, that is Daniel Simiu, Benson Kiplagat and Bernard Kibet, will take part in the men's 10,000 meters. Now elsewhere, David Ndugu will take charge of the Kenya Golf Union for the period of 2024-2025 after being elected unopposed during the annual general meeting held last evening at Muthaiga Golf Club. Now Chris Kinuthia will deputize Ndugu for the same term after also being elected unopposed, same as Karugu Macharia, who will serve as the treasurer of the union for 1 year. Brian Akun garnered 55 votes, beating Frank Wambugu, who only managed 39 votes, to take the position of secretary. The executive members elected to serve for 1 year term are James Gitonga, Peter Mwaura, Jonathan Marusha, Robert Ngugi, Weldon Mutai, and Liban Roba. Davis Mukaria, James Gitonga, and Ndiga Githai are some of the members who lost positions in the executive committee.
I come in to chair the board of this union to ensure that I can meet or beat the standards that have been set by those who have gone before me. There is quite a bit to do. As you may be aware, we are going through a transition as a sport. Golf Kenya was founded almost 10 years ago, previously called the Kenya Golf Federation, and the goal is to harmonize all golfing bodies into one.
And unfortunately, that concludes our bulletin this afternoon, but we'll have more for you in our subsequent bulletin. But lest we forget, there is a big match that will be happening where Manchester United will be facing on Manchester City in the FA Cup. And in the eventuality they lose to Manchester City, it will be on the onus of Arsenal to face them when the league starts of the year 2024-2025. That marks the end of our bulletin. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim. The sign language interpreter is Anu Wangeshi. Good afternoon for now.
tukipata 100k, yani tukipata kama leo, tutaifanyia kazi. After culture festival, maybe we will be double profit on it. Kama ikiwa tutapata 100,000, basi tuweze tukatengeneza 200,000 within 1 month ama 1.5.
The 100,000, I'll start my business, inshallah, kuendeleza. Yeah, I am art, by the way. Yeah, I used to drawing something, hata kukata vitu, kutengeneza decoration. Yeah, I know. Yeah, so itakuwa the big chance to do something, si ndio? Yeah, to niendeleze maisha na maisha itasonga.
Mimi nitainvest kununua tools za kutengeza chombo. Kama mimi ni dough maker, lakini natumia local tools kutengeneza hii. Ikiwa nitakuwa na electrical tools, nitatengeneza faster. Kazi yangu itaiboresha vizuri zaidi kuliko kutumia mkono na take too longer kwa na exercise.
Kipata 100,000, naongeza pikipiki ya pili ili nipate kuangalia familia kwa uzuri.
Nitainua biashara yangu. Kama sasa napika nyumbani, nikipata 100,000 nitafungua kama hoteli. Ukishafanya hiyo biashara sasa, waweza ukaenda kama benki ukachukua mkopo, ukapewa, kilipa vizuri, utapewa taregesho, utapewa tena, nitapata 100,000 hata 200,000.
Nitafurahi sana. Nitajaribu pia kuinvest katika kazi yangu, kufanya mambo mazuri kama kurembesha kazi yangu, kutafuta zitu za kunisaidia kama life jacket. Ni big challenge kwa our marine security. Unaona? Ku maintain na dau pia ni ngumu sana, so it need a lot of work na yani itatusaidia katika pesa. Mambo hiyo ni mambo mengi sana ambayo itatusaidia sisi, maisha yangu mimi na familia yangu, yeah, na wale wote ambao wananitegemea mimi.
Unayeheshimisha watu wote, Mungu.
Fear is the belief that God is not with you, you of little faith.
You know, Jesus said, let this mind that was in me be in you. In a generation of different ideologies, scientific atheism, African Renaissance, how do we ideally allow the mindset of Christ?
Tuko kwa generation, we are chasing the interests, where we have small boys, big girls. We are in a space where hatutaki kuwa patient. We want life that comes up so fast.
I sticked and I had discipline in my whole life to say that I want to stand out in the community and I want to be a champion of saying it's not about what you guys know, it's about what God knows about your life.
On KBC Channel 1, we are a TV station like no other. Get a taste of the best in entertainment.
Yes, indeed.
Feel the passion.
Will you promise me?
I swear that you will never lose me. I can't get married to you.
I'm sure you knew about it. That's why you're making fun of me.
Experience the drama.
Get out.
Who's the man in this one? And the laughter.
Hii wigi umevaa kichwani.
Sisi wakati tulikuwa tunapishwa tukapewa mheshimiwa.
Move to the beat.
We are live from Broadcasting House.
And get informed on the latest happenings. KBC Channel 1.
Wow. Yeah!
We are the full package.
Oh, yes.
And Kenya's watching.
Thank you very much for joining us.